Greetings, Podcastville. Welcome to the Church of What's Happening Now. It's brought to you by ZipRecruiter. Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? No, you don't. Do me a favor. Go to ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/church. That's ZipRecruiter.com/church. Number 2, Onnit.com. The best supplements, period. From Shroom Tech Sport, Alpha Brain, Hemp Force Protein, you can't fucking go wrong. Go to Onnit.com/church. Boom! And get 10% off delivered right to your motherfucking door. Let's get this party started. Are you fucking kidding me or what? It's the Church of What's Happening Now, bitches. Monday, August 7th. Here we go. Like a black cat do. Are you fucking kidding me?
Started this and didn't finish it.
It's going to be that type of Monday, cocksuckers.
It's not Monday, is it?
It's going to be when they get this podcast. Mr. Saturday Night. It's the Church of What's Happening Now. My Jewish Goomba, Lee Syatt, and the Man of Steel, Mr. Ron White. This is what I'm talking about on a Monday motherfucking morning. Good afternoon, good evening, Mr. White. How are you, sir?
I feel like 100 pesos.
Oh my God, that's the fucking weed that killed Carrie Fisher. I'm telling you, that's El Patron. That's what you got to smoke for the series, the Netflix premiere of Narcos. That's the weed you got to smoke right there. What's going on, my man?
I just came by here and you just got me so fucked up in about 30 minutes, and I'm gonna be like, well, this will be great. People just to see just how brain dead I can possibly fucking become. Thank you, Joey.
Oh, this tequila's tremendous. I haven't drank in a while, but this is tremendous.
Oh, isn't it ridiculous?
One more.
Tequila's probably the most fun liquor, I think.
You can't walk on one fucking leg, you know what I'm saying?
It's whatever the fuck the word is. I'm not gonna remember any words for the rest of the fucking night. What's the weed you were fucking giving me, man?
El Patron from Perennial, right down the block here in Studio City. This is the shit Jerry Lewis gives the kids before he shoots them. He gives them one of these. Listen, you're not selling no more tickets, cocksucker. You gotta go get hit by another car, or something's gotta happen. Oh my God, Ron White, where the fuck do we start?
You tell me, man. This is you know what? I came down here today to do this because I'm such a big fan, and I don't know. I mean, I guess one of the things that when I moved to LA, and I think, as you know, I want to be a part of the comedy community. I want to be a part of it. I don't want to hang out on the edges and walk in. I want to be a dead fuck in the middle of it. Just having a good time, doing what I do. It's the only thing I do, so I love being. I like being a part of it. I don't care if somebody's an open micer or they make 10 times more money than I do, like somebody does. I'm just fucking with you.
Now, where'd you live before, full time?
I had a place up in Montecito, California, where I just sat on the deck and looked at the ocean and drank and did nothing. And now I still drink, but I go in and do sets when I'm home. I always go out and do sets. So it's the fucking most fun I can have. It makes me relaxed. If I don't go out and do sets every night, I'm pent up. I feel like I'm here for no reason, and it just it makes me fucking smile. Just to go out and let people love me,
Oh my God.
Let them love me. There's nothing wrong with that. I fucking earned it. God. Fucking love on me.
Man, the night that I went, because I always call up for the holidays. There's something about the store on the holidays that makes my dick hard, whether it's Thanksgiving night, Christmas
Right,
night.
yeah, right.
And this year, I called in for, I think, Christmas Eve or Christmas night. I never look at the lineup. I just want to go down there and get surprised. I get out of my car, and there you are, dressed to the nines. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing down here? Same thing you are, doing a set. And I'm like, God damn. I called Rogan the next one. I'm like, Rogan, where the fuck were you last night? With my family. We were down at the store having a fucking blast.
Yeah, we got toasted.
Oh my God. And that's what, I guess that's what being a comic is. I mean, you never end. It never ends.
Well, just it's the camaraderie of people that are. It's such a number one. Stand-up comedy is a tiny subculture. I mean, there's just not very. There are way more fucking brain surgeons than there are people that make a living doing stand-up comedy. It's a small subculture, and I find for the most part, not always, but for the most part, there are people I can fucking hang with. Because we know the same people, we've had the same experiences, most of us that have, roaded our ass off until it was eroded, and so it's just and especially the store, because you can sit back. There's a place, I know nobody knows this, or maybe you do, but at the store, there's a place for comedians to smoke weed and be who they are, and they've always embraced the insanity of stand-up comedians. They've always known the best ones were crazy as fuck. And so they're like, let's make a crazy as fuck spot and let the craziest fuck people have a place to be while they're doing stand-up. And that's why, fucking Pryor, they built a fucking glass piano for him to do blow-off of. Like, if you're going to be crazy, please, be crazy here and tell jokes on our fucking stage. And that's why Carlin and Kennison and all the devils, they all came up over here. The Angels came up over at the Improv. So I usually gravitate toward. I love working both clubs, and luckily not everybody can. But it's a blast. But if you go to the Improv and go, hey, where can I smoke some weed? They're like, well, you have to actually stand on Melrose Avenue in traffic to do it. That's what we got worked out for you. I'm like, really? They hear you get to hear the store. You can park your car right next to the building and walk on in. It's great. It's fun.
Now, where was the first time you got up on stage? Where the fuck was it? Who do you claim? Who claims you?
Well, there was called the Funny Bone Comedy Club in Arlington, Texas, and this guy that I worked was a window salesman, and this guy that I worked with went to the first open mic night that they had there after the club first opened, and he came to the office the next day and he goes, Ron, you're funnier than these guys. You should go do this. And I was like, really? You think so? And he said, yeah, I know so. I watched everybody. You're better than they are. Go do this. So I went down there, had to audition for one person, which is so humiliating. There's one person there with their arms crossed, and I've got 4 minutes of shit, pure fucking unadulterated crap. And one thing got a laugh, and they decided to let me on. And then I remember the guy, I forget his name, but he's a black comic, and his name was Ron something, and I remember he goes, please enjoy the comedy stylings of Ron White. And I'm walking towards the stage, and I'm like, stylings? Stylings? And I'm just nervous as fuck, and I didn't expect him to say stylings, and I didn't. But I did okay for my 4 minute set, but the next week, and nobody was there. I didn't tell anybody I was doing it, but it went so well. I thought I got a little cocky, first show cockies. And so the next week that they let me on, it was like 3 weeks later. That's how good the set was, and so then I tell all my friends and everybody, come on out, this is amazing. And I just went on stage and drank a cup of my own warm fucking sperm. This fucking great comics was on right before me. I froze up, and it was awful, just the worst thing. I don't think anything ever happened worse after that. That set was so absolutely horrible that I was like, and all my friends were there. They're like, and your friends are trying to laugh, but it's really not funny. So they're making that sound. That was what my sister-in-law was making. but it's not a laugh because you can't. If it's not funny, you can't make yourself fucking laugh at it. You just go,
Now, what year was this?
86.
Oh my! And what was going on in the comedy community then? They were all over the place, comedy clubs, or no?
No, no. They were. That was pretty much the
86.
middle of the boom, I guess. There was there were 4 clubs in Dallas. So I figured out I'm smart on a couple levels, but one of them is I saw that was an MC job, not an opening act job. So if you were really dedicate yourself to becoming a really good master of ceremonies, even though you suck, if you memorize the announcements and you know who's coming next week and you make it look like a show, then you'll probably get more work than these guys that are just back there looking at their stupid little horrible jokes, and then they're like pulling out pieces of paper. And then, so I'm like, well, fuck show business. Why not make it slicker? Maybe that helps to get, stage time. Because that's what you need is stage time. How do you get on stage? How do you stay on stage? Where do you have to go to get on stage? Because if you're not willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to stay on stage, then it won't work anyway. But it for sure won't work if you don't have that kind of attitude or mentality of I would invent things to put me on stage when I was an amateur comic. I would go to these restaurants or hotels with a restaurant, and I would set up a comedy competition, and first place would be dinner for 2, and I would only invite comics that I was funnier than. If you were funnier than me, you weren't going to hear about this competition, because I wanted the fucking food. That meant something. That was like $16 worth of stuff, and and a meal. Was fucking that important. It meant something, and so I just kind of learned how to set up gigs that way. So now we're going to talk them into. I'm going to start talking them into $300 for first place and $200 or whatever, and then eventually I got good enough. Anybody could come. I could.
When did you start featuring? How long?
I started featuring. I got a phone call one day, and from the Funny Bone in Arlington, Texas, and Sam Kinison was coming to the Dallas County Convention Theater for a makeup show. He'd already missed it. He'd already canceled it, and Carl LeBeau was in rehab, and they really hadn't thought about who was going to open the show, so they called the Improv Day a show, and ask them, who can we get to do this? And they go, well, Ron White's pretty funny, and I wish I could tell you when it was, but I think maybe 2 years or a year and a half or something. I only had 15 minutes, and it was a 20-minute job. So when they said 20 minutes, I was like, sure. And so it wasn't very long into it, and I go down there, and with my first wife, Lori, and Alex Raimundo, my dear friend for 30 years to this day. We'll work together tomorrow night or last week or whatever. And so Sam, it's 2,000 seats. I hadn't played more than Funny Bone. That's all I'd played. And, but they were packed, and back in the 80s, and so his brother was there. I can't remember his name now. Kinnison's brother was his manager.
Bill,
right? Bill. And he's Ken Sam's not there. There's nobody else back there. And when they have a 6-pack of beer and an ice chest, and then Sam has a dressing suite with a bunch of stuff in it, but nobody's there. And so he goes, well, we're gonna go ahead and start the show. And he goes, Sam's opening act is oft times a sacrificial lamb, because Sam was at his peak of popularity, and he said sometimes they'll just start yelling at you and trying to get you off stage, and they just want to see Sam. So whatever happens, don't take it fucking personal. And I was like, okay, all right, okay. And I go out there, and it was the the set was so strong that it lasted 16 minutes. You know, it was only 14 minutes of stuff, but I murdered and just absolutely killed. And I was looking over the side, and I know he was hoping I would do more time because Sam still wasn't there. And I'm like, all right, and the fucking crowd goes nuts. And then there's the people that some people that were owners of the Funny Bone chain were at that show, and some people from the Laugh Stop were at that show, and I think the Punchline also. And so anyway, I come off stage and Sam's still not there, so you know I'm high fiving Lori and Alex, and that was great. That was kill. That was murder. That's the best thing ever. And we're back there drinking. They had a 6-pack of Budweiser, and then Alex and I smoke a joint, and all of a sudden three limos pull up. Now there's 20 people back there. As soon as Sam gets there, he sends his bodyguard to get me, and he goes, "Mr. Kinnison, I'd like to meet you." And so I go back in the back, and he's there's 2 rooms in this little dressing area, and people in the front, and then there was a private room in the back, and it's just Sam and a hooker, I guess, and he's got a big old vial of blow, and there's a rock stuck in it, and he's just banging it on the table. He's working on it. He's frustrated. He can't get what he wants out of the end of this bottle. And then finally it clumps up, and he out of there, and a big old pile, and he goes, "Heard you killed him, cowboy." And I go, "Yeah, Sam, that was a great crowd. You're going to have fun." He goes, "How about a cup of coffee?" And I'm like, yeah, okay, all right. And so we both did he did this monster rail of blow, and then faked a heart attack. And nobody believed it but me. And but he did. He's on his back, grabbing his fucking heart, and just fucking shaking. And I'm like, because I know I would have died if I'd have done that one instead of the one I did. And then he hops up laughing, and he goes, "Let me show you how to do this." And he goes on stage and just pounds the fuck out of this crowd. It was so beautiful to see. And so afterwards, I had a demon on each side, a demon and a devil. I had a demon and an angel. And the angel was all the representatives from those clubs going, "Let's go out to dinner, and we'll have a nice discussion about your comedy career," on one shoulder. And the other shoulder was Kinnison going, "Let's go to a titty bar and snort some cocaine." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow, right?" So I just went with Sam, and I didn't see him again for years. But that's where I got the dates to do 50 weeks, enough to pay the bills.
What year was that? About it had to be
like
before
I said,
94.
I would say 88 or
wow.
Yeah.
So he was at the top of his fucking game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good Lord, it was amazing. It was amazing to see. I hadn't seen. I don't think I had even seen. Well, I know I hadn't seen homosexual necrophilia ever, and he did it in that set, and so it was a newer set. It was mostly stuff I hadn't seen, but back then he was pretty prolific with that amazing stuff. He built a bridge that a bunch of comics walked across. And that bridge, I'm good at naming bridges and comedy, and that was a bridge that people can genuinely find you disgusting, and you can still make them laugh. And I don't think anybody knew that before Sam. Sam was gut level fucking just unpleasant in his views and his opinions, but was such a gifted orator that he could still fucking hook you into it, even if you're like afterwards you felt dirty about it. I mean, it's something you're really good at too.
I watched that. I still remember not doing comedy, just snorting blow in my living room on a Saturday night, and I still remember that bit he did about why you shipping food there.
Right.
The fucking nothing grows.
Right.
Lee, run whites in studio. Drink that fucking drink.
I'm drinking it.
You over there putting ice in it, diluting it. Take a shot. Columbus did. It's always a
It's pretty
run whites in studio.
pretty much gone. Oh yeah, I love
This is number one here. that. Now, from there, where the fuck was your head the next day? You're like, this is it. There's no more working at a fucking job. There's dick.
I got I wasn't really good at anything and at all, and was also a little on the lazy side, and so I was horrible at high school, and I got kicked out in the 10th grade, and joined the Navy, and got kicked out of the Navy after 18 months because I was horrible at that, really bad at that, and I was just, my brain just, I knew I wasn't stupid like everybody claimed, because I knew that my brain had something in it. Something was there, but it was so unfucking defined. I just couldn't figure out what it was, and so really the first time I went on stage, I was on stage going, "Oh, I'm a comedian." Well, that's fucking good to know. At least I know it. But I knew the first time I walked on stage, this is where it fits. This is exactly the puzzle piece that fits the fucking puzzle piece of my brain and what it will do. Whether I was born to be a stand-up comic or it just happened along or whatever, but I would starve to death in any other country on this planet with the skills that I have. But in the U.S.,
that makes two of us. That makes two. I told Lee last night, Lee, if it wasn't for, I thought when I came down here only because of the pilot. They saw me in Seattle. I didn't think I was good enough to live in L.A. I said, it's not going to work. And I said, I'll give myself a year. If this fails, I'll move to Jersey and just sell drugs. I've done it all. I've been a chef at fucking Wendy's. I couldn't do it.
Chef?
I was a chef at Wendy's. I was in the chef training program.
Okay.
But, it just fit. When I got on stage, I knew I didn't want to work days. My mom owned a bar, and her days were free, and I loved her lifestyle. She worked from 8 to 3, and that was a great lifestyle.
Yeah, right.
She went there in the daytime. She looked at the receipts. She talked to a few people, and then she was on her way to a Met game, getting fucking lit, go home, cook dinner, we eat dinner, abandon ship, go to the bar, work until 3. I always knew I was not going to get a day job. It just wasn't going to work. I tried the bartending. Who the fuck wants to bartend? You want to be on the other side of the bar, drinking for free.
There's no better job. Alex, I mentioned Alex earlier. His the reason he decided to go into stand-up was he was working as a bartender at the club, and he had to go do something at the condo, and the guys were at the pool on a Wednesday, and just floating there chatting up to chicks, and he was like, that's what I want to do. I want to lay by the pool on a Wednesday, not get up and drive someplace.
Fuck no.
And
I was a failure. I knew it wasn't going to work, Ron White.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't going to work. Let me ask you this. I know it's an offsetting question. That guy that talked you into going down there, you still communicate with him?
Yeah, Sam.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, no. Sam's a great guy. I always thought he'd be a horrible salesman, and he was like way better than me, and I was pretty good. And I bought him a bicycle. He liked cross country bicycling, and he had this big, part of a big, group of people that did it, and so I bought him the most ridiculous bicycle ever, and then I bailed him out of jail a couple times. So yeah, we stay in contact. And he comes usually when I play, he still lives around where he used to, same house. So whenever I play Fort Worth or Dallas or whatever, he always comes out to shows.
The first guy that ever mentioned stand-up to me, I was working at Hollister Chrysler Plymouth, snorting coke 7 days a week. Making $7-8 grand a month, selling cars, out there with a suit on, thinking you're fucking John Gotti. But I was snorting all night, every night till 6. Then I went over to Bill Crouch Subaru, and like the third day, there was a new manager there, and we actually bumped fucking heads. Like it was like, fuck you, I do it this way, and he's like, fuck you, I do it this way. And this guy got in my face, and I got in his face. And like 2 days later, we got broken up that night. 2 days later, I'm outside waiting for a customer, and this crazy fuck comes up to me and goes, hey, man, I don't know what happened between us the other day, nor do I care. I know you maybe not like you. I'm not too crazy about you. He goes, but for 10 years of my life, I was an assistant to an entertainment director in Vegas. And he goes, I'll tell you something. You don't need to be selling cars. You could be a stand-up comic. I'm like, go fuck yourself. You just called me a fucking loser 2 days ago. Now you're telling me I could be a stand-up comic.
You can be a stand-up comic and a loser also.
Yeah, at the same time.
I've seen it happen.
No, please.
I've done it.
So it's those, I never know. I always sit there for nights thinking about what his name is, and I would love to see him and give him a hug and go, you were fucking right. That was the first. Then other people came along and said different things.
Nudged you in that direction.
Now so now you're a feature act, you're out there. I start comedy in 91. For 3 years, I just sold Valiums. I told my friends, come to my show. They would call me and go, you got a gram of blow? Yeah. Show up at the Broker, it's there. And they would come, and now they have to go to the show.
Genius, man.
Oh my God, that's how you get people to shows.
Right. It makes you regional.
Oh my God.
Regional distributor.
I would tell them, you want to have gram, I'll give it to you for 45. It's one rock, but you got to come to the Broker at 8:30. Why? What's going on? Just show up there. I'll meet you there. They would walk in. They'd pay the fucking $5 to get in. They'd sit through the show. I'd do the comedy, and then I'd give them the Coke or the Valiums. 94, I got into it. 96, I finally start going on the road to different places. 97, Coconut Grove has a club. I keep calling this club, going, I'm Cuban. I want to work the club.
Well, I worked it a lot.
Go fuck you. I know. Go fuck yourself. You can't work down here. Then finally that fucking, the Chinese hot piece of ass, Sarah Nye, calls me. And she goes, I got a week for you. 2 weeks. You got to do Buffalo first, then I'll give you Miami.
That was Alex's girl.
Yeah, that was Alex's girlfriend. The first night before Buffalo, I book a fucking Pennzoil commercial. A mobster was the heat of mafia shit because of The Sopranos. I'm going out every day on a different commercial. I book a around-the-world type of Pennzoil commercial. I call Sarah Nye at 8 o'clock at night, L.A. time. I go, Sarah, Buffalo ain't happening Tuesday morning. She goes, don't ever call me again. I'm like, fuck. I just lost Miami. A year later, they called again and go, we want you down in Miami. And I got to tell you, Ron White, the fucking minute I walked in, everybody kept asking me, do you know Ron White? Are you friends with Ron White? I saw your picture on the wall. I don't know this fucking guy. That went on, and they loved you down there. This is a Cuban club.
Yeah.
And they loved you.
I worked that international crowd pretty well, you know. It was, and I also participated in the fun. I watched people age at an accelerated rate at that fucking club. Because when that fucking club first opened, everybody was fuckable. The guys were fuckable. The girls were fuckable. Everybody was cute. But they're going at it on this blow that they're getting for almost nothing every night, every single night. And I would only be there for like 5 days. So I would take a hit. But I'd come back a year, and I didn't do a lot of blow outside of there. I mean, I did some, I did blow, but I didn't hit it as hard as you did.
Oh, I was hitting it.
And but when I was down there, I would fucking go. We went to I don't know why I just so I do the stupidest shit when I'm wired, but everybody wants to go see RuPaul at this huge gay bar. It plays like 2,000 gay men, and RuPaul comes in and does like. He had like a song, a hit song on the radio, and he does that song, and then does "It's Great to Be Gay" shit, and cheerleader stuff, and all these guys, and the reason I really remember it is because like the ugliest dudes there hit on me, and I'm like, what? You're not gonna send your little Rob Lowe looking motherfucker over here? What? I know I'm kind of fat, but goddamn, I'm not gonna fuck you. This ain't gonna crack the fucking safe.
Now, what was the whole Mexico thing? Why were you living in Mexico? Fucking, and people will look. Every comedy club was looking for you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's. I was with a girl. I was living on a lake outside Austin, and the Funny Bone Comedy Club realized they could fuck me. Because they realized that I had so many eggs in their basket that they didn't need to pay me $2,000 a week in air, that they could pay me $1,500 and drop the air. So that's a big cut in pay. So it cost you about $280 to fly around to a gig, something like that. And I was living in South Texas, and or I was living in Austin on a lake, Kingsland, Texas. And my girlfriend made this pottery that was really pretty. It was mosaic tile application to an existing piece of pottery. She'd sell it in art shows. But it'd take her like 6 months to make enough to sell in a day. So I just started thinking, well, you know, you could go down to Mexico, you know, hire a room full of people and teach them how to do this. And so I sold the house and loaded all my stuff up in a biggest thing Ryder sells, and then my van pulling the biggest trailer that they rent. And we traipse off down to Mexico. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know anybody. And first we get in a trailer outside in McAllen, Texas, and it was like a gated golf course trailer park. So it was kind of like high end trailer living, but my love was for Reynosa, Mexico. I mean, I loved it over there. I used to play a comedy club down in McAllen, and I'd go over there and, you know, fuck whores and whatever, you know, Texas shit, you know, and that's what you do and where you go. So I always had you know, like a warm spot in my heart for it, and so. You know, I go over there and I meet this lady named Irma Munoz, and who speaks a little bit of English, and so I do exactly what I envisioned. That was, you know, we hired these ladies that live in this colonia, and I rented this run-down old tortilla factory and cleaned it up and painted it and shit, and built tables myself. I was in there sweating, you know, drinking Corona and smoking weed that I had to smuggle from the U.S. back into Mexico. I was the only one going that way with weed, and so I got away with it. But I literally didn't have any idea where to buy marijuana in Mexico because they don't smoke marijuana on the border towns. Not very many people do. So the dealer's on the other side, so you got to bring it back. It's kind of funny, and. But anyway, it was you know, it was just an experience. My son, you know, I had joint custody of my son, so from the time I'd been doing stand-up for 3 years, I had a 3-year-old, you know, my son was with me half the time. So I'm in a van with a car seat. I don't know jack shit about raising a kid, but I got part of one. I got it, and yeah. And so I, you know, and you know, whenever I'm supposed to have him, you know, his mother puts him on a plane, sends him to Mexico, and she was always hip about it. You know, it was probably a good experience for him. So, but eventually, the blue, you know, I'm going out on the weekends with Jeff, and so I'd get on a plane, fly from McAllen to Houston, and then I get on a plane from Houston to Atlanta, and then Jeff was leasing jets by then, and then we'd go do, you know, probably 3 cities in 3 days.
And it was just you and Jeff then?
Just me and Jeff, right?
Okay. And what year is this? Let's pretend.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah,
fuck
93, maybe 93, 94. Okay. So, and then every once in a while, I'm doing a pub. I mean, a club. Somebody that didn't try to fuck me over. And then also when I told the people at the Funny Bone to go eat a steaming bowl of fuck, 6 months later they were going, well, wait a minute, you know, we'll pay you the money. And then you know, I'm working with Jeff, and so Jeff's paying me $1,500 a show. So that's way more money, and he did it because he loved me, and he knew I needed it, you know. So he fucking great guy. And so now I can fund the company down there, and so I go out with him, and then I'll fly back on Sunday, and you know, go back and live a life I love, which was down in Mexico.
Like a doctor,
yeah.
Nobody bothers you.
Yeah, no.
I can't. I always wanted to live in Mexico, like where La Bamba went for the tattoo. And
yeah,
woke
right.
up that morning and the
yeah.
fucking teepee.
I lost my virginity to a prostitute in Tijuana when I was 18 years old in the Navy.
Damn.
She was overweight, and her teeth had no general direction or color, but she was well within my budget.
Is that why you got kicked out of the Navy?
Oh, no.
Because you said that, and I just never heard that before, that you were bad at the Navy. I've never heard, I think I'd be bad at the Navy,
really?
But for different reasons.
Really bad at the Navy. I I just had this I had this thing with drugs. From the I grew up in from a little bitty town, but I grew up in Houston, so we had plenty of Haight Ashbury was going on in L.A., but Allen's Landing was going on or Haight Ashbury's in Frisco, but
right.
And then Allen's Landing in Houston was going on, and which was a huge hippie scene in Houston, and my parents would take it. I mean, it was literally daisies in your hair, big ass people tripping their fucking brains out, just wandering around acting goofy. And my parents used to take us down there to look at them like they were zoo animals. And I was like, well, it looks like they're having fun, doesn't it?
It was like a learning moment, like don't end up like these people, or
yeah. So, I had just an odd childhood, that for 1 year I'm in chasing lizards in this little bitty dirt town. That's and then I live in Houston in a time where America is probably one of its most interesting periods politically and socially, and it was pretty goddamn cool. And but I always leaned towards drugs, pretty heavy, amounts of drugs. That's why we talk to each other.
And that doesn't work in the Navy?
My handle on the CB was Captain Cannabinol. And,
where were you stationed in the Navy?
I was stationed at Pearl Harbor, and so we went on a Western Pacific cruise, and then I got busted. They had a drug test on our boat, and 8 of us out of only 76 people on this boat, and 8 of us got busted for heroin, and they really took it seriously. And you know what the thing is? It was either heroin or Huff paint, because I just like getting fucked up. And the heroin that we were snorting it was like a match head of it would get 8 people fucked up they couldn't fucking see. And I liked it. I was like Clapton.
I liked it too. I liked it too.
And but I never was a big junkie. I got busted there, and then I got sent to the Naval Drug Rehabilitation Center in Miramar, California, and there I got discharged from the Navy, and the commander of the base at Miramar, while I was being discharged, called me a hole in our national line of defense. I'm like, me? I'm 19. What were you counting on me for fuck's sake? A hole? That's an insult. But
and where did you grow up? What city? Houston, you said?
Yeah.
So you went from Houston to 19 in Hawaii? It's amazing you only did a little bit. That seems like heaven.
Well, we started doing. I started doing acid in A school, and then it's probably 75. And the first time I did it, I was in A school in San Diego, and this guy was selling this window pane acid that I had no idea what I had in my hand, and they were just buying in the barracks down below me, and but I did have a tendency to like pills and stuff, so I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll try it. But I didn't have any friends. I mean, I just got there, and so I took 2 hits of this 4-way. So this is 8 hits of this sick ass window pane acid, and I loved it. I mean,
I was fucked up. I did 1 hit in 78. I was in the 8th grade, and I was fucked up, Ron White.
Yeah, I had this trip, so it was part of it was really awkward because I was at this hotel that I rented, and I'm laying on this couch, tripping my brains out. I don't even know what's happening, but all I know it's pleasant for the most part, and I don't have to do anything except enjoy it because I'm in a hotel room and with a couple other people, and so I started getting this vision of me inflating. And I would take my shoes off and I would deflate a little bit, and then I'd get too thin and I'd put my shoes back on and I'd start to inflate a little bit more. So for hours, every 15 minutes I got to take my shoes off or put them back on to keep me from getting too thin or too fat. It was pretty strong acid, is what I'm trying to say.
At least it made sense at the time.
But yeah, it was manageable. It was manageable. It was a manageable.
I even got the sugar cubes and the liquid acid, old school style. We did it one time.
We did it more than once.
We do it. Oh, we do it 2 nights in a row. That's right. We just did it light though. It wasn't really deep seeing fucking leprechauns and stuff like this. Now, so you're in Mexico and you're still traveling from time to time, but nobody's got your fucking phone number.
Yeah.
So finally, I go to Miami and I meet this character named Joe Chadwick. And I went in there as a feature, and I worked the first week, and they really liked me. Then the second week, somebody dropped out, and they kept me. The first time I was there, I went for 3 weeks straight. But the 3 weeks I was there, they took about 2 people, you and a white guy from Cleveland that's still in the game. Something happened. I think he works locally in Cleveland, whatever. Never knew who this was. I go back there again. New Year's, I do all these gigs, and they're talking to me about this character named Ron White. And finally, I go back to L.A., and one day my phone starts ringing. Do I know how to get a hold of Ron White? And I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like giggling. And I never think anything of it. I never see this character, Ron White. And I go to the fucking Laugh Factory in Houston, which at the time had to be one of the best clubs in the country. The place where I always had the best time in my life was that city. And I go there, and I think it's John Westling and me, and we go out to smoke a joint, and there you are. Kathleen's headlining, you're featuring, and you're outside holding court, man, just talking about, and I'm watching you. And then I sat there and watched you before Kathleen, and I was just fucking blown the fuck away. That fucking landing in, where I OD'd. Where'd I OD? Beaumont International Airport and tire service. I almost fucking passed out. Beaumont was where I almost OD'd. Fucking who ODs in Beaumont? Nobody's.
Isn't that where
Janis Joplin?
Janis Joplin. That's where she was from.
That's where she was from. The museum is the worst museum in the world. Yeah. And I fell in love with you. After that, I was like, wait a second, I got to do something about my stand-up. There were 2 people that when I watched live influenced my stand-up. The first guy was Doug Stanhope in '96 in Seattle. I thought I got hit. Like I considered quitting the next day.
I still consider quitting when I watch Stanhope.
I considered quitting the next day. Like I got to either do that.
Yeah, he's way better than me.
And then I saw you in Houston '99, 2000, and you just had what I needed. You had the essence of I don't give a fuck if you laugh. I'm here to have a few drinks, smoke a few joints. If I bump into a line in a blowjob, that's like the cherry on the sundae.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's where you have to be in comedy. You can't go up there.
I was a philandering dickhead, I admit that.
You can't go up there thinking about you're going to bomb. Who gives a fuck? Just go up there and be you. And that, I wanted to tell you that. That's why I wanted you to come on the show, because that in 2000, when I came back to LA, I was a complete different comic. Because I knew it wasn't up to the audience. It was up to fucking me.
Right.
And I got that from you.
That's what I tell people, that if you look at the common denominator of all, great comics, which you are. I don't know if you know this, but you go watch Joey shake a crowd. He can take them by the neck and just shake them. And it doesn't matter if there's 50 of them or 5,000 of them, that there's nobody better at this than you. And, you're Rogan's favorite comic. And I watched the other day, it was like, he had this crowd rocking. And that's the fun shit. You get them rocking, just boom, 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 just slapping them in the face. And, it's really fun to watch, man.
But it's also really 20 years, Ron White, and I want young comics to understand that.
Right, me 30.
I'm 27, and 27. I'm not 27. This year, July, I'm like 82 in cocaine years. You ever get I'm like 87 in cocaine years. But the 20-year mark really makes you decide something. And for me, that's what it was. Now, I think July 18th was 28 years. It was 91. So whatever, 91, 2001, 2011, 27 years. So when did the whole fucking tour start? Like
I think around 2000, or maybe it was 99. I'd been opening for Jeff for a few years, and then one day we were on the plane, and he starts telling me about this concept, because the Kings of Comedy, which was a Cedric the Entertainer, and I feel like an idiot.
Hughley,
yeah, you're right.
the game show host, and the guy who died,
Bernie Mac and
Bernie Mac, yes,
right, and God, so
Steve Harvey.
yes, which makes me a horrible fucking comedian for not being able to pull those names out, but. So they're doing huge numbers, and as a group of 4 touring comics, and so of course we like see what the black man does well, and we steal that, and so we form our group, and he tells me about it, and so it was just going to be a kind of a rural version of that, southern version of that same marketing, except for the only star is Jeff. But he's bigger than all those guys. Jeff's, and we're smaller than all those guys. So, who knows how it's going to work. And so Jeff tells me about it, and I said, "That's retarded." So that's what a seer I am. And I said, "What do you need 4 comics for? That's against the rules. Nobody does that." So we did it, and it was the biggest comedy tour in the history of spoken word by a lot. And then DVD sales into the millions and millions and millions. The first one sold 4 million copies, and that made me I've never been a household name. I'm not one now.
Yes, you are.
Because my fame came from, I'm not either. I'm telling you, I'm not. I have fans. That's great. But I'm not a household name, because my fame doesn't come from television. It comes from stand-up comedy. I'm a famous comedian. That's it. I don't, I don't have the exposure of some of these guys that have. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. You're a stand-up.
It's perfect.
You're a fucking stand-up. That's it.
It's all I ever wanted to be. I found out I was one, and I kept being it. And anyway, I forgot what I was talking about.
Just the red,
Blue collar.
the blue collar.
Yeah.
Red collar. Fucking blue.
So it was so huge, and then we put out that Warner Brothers agreed to turn it into a movie, and it was really Kathleen that was telling me, do you have any idea how big a deal that is, that Warner Brothers is going to take your image and put it in theaters and DVDs and whatever the hell? I was like, no, it sounds great, I don't know, it probably won't happen, but they say the deal's already done. So sure enough, I'm opening for this, group of comics, so I'm doing 10-minute sets, and that's all I'm doing to open this one's 10 minutes, and at that time I would consider myself one of the best 10-minute big venue comics in the country, because nobody did it more than I did, and I was comfortable doing it. So opening the show, and it would, it was all set up so perfectly, and then I came back at the end and did a story that I'd been telling for years, and that always kills. And I'm like, I'm set to pop.
That fucking Tater just set them up. It was like the 8 Ball. Lee, you ready for a star?
Absolutely.
I know you had that star look on your face. You're like, when is Joey going to offer me a star of death? Because I'm sitting here going, you know what? This tequila might set the fucking star of death up just perfect.
I have no idea what's going on.
You never had a star of death?
You don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got a set to do, dude.
Oh, no, this ain't for you.
Oh, okay, thank God.
This is for me and Lee. This is just, but I'll let you.
You're not doing a set tonight?
No, I'll give you one to go.
All right.
That's for you, my brother.
Oh, good. I'm glad
that's
that
a
went
star
by.
of death. In other words, that's a La Estrella de la Muerte.
Nice.
It's 125 milligrams. That's it. That's all you need.
Is 125 milligrams?
That's it. That's all you need.
What am I supposed to do with it?
You eat it.
Put it in my pocket. I can't eat it. I gotta.
All right, you save it. I'll give you a piece of paper on the way out.
So how pissed do you think it'd be if I fucking didn't go do a set tonight?
Just tell them you got fucking caught up. You bumped into a bottle of tequila by mistake.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm gonna be fucking toasted though.
You know, Ron White, it's just now, how old were you when all this was going on?
I started when I was 29.
And no, the blue collar tour. How old were you?
45 about when it started. So that so I'd been doing stand up for about 15 years, and then it's been 15 years since then. So it would have been 2002, I guess, or 2001.
And how many years did you guys continue that tour? That was like a 4-year tour, correct?
It was. We did it for we toured for like 3 years, and then we got the last two movies that we put out were we weren't touring together. We just acted like we were. We were all out doing our stuff. I started making so much money. It was ridiculous, and I mean I really couldn't believe it. I mean, if you can sell out a theater. And you're a comedian, and it doesn't cost anything to produce it. You write it. There's no backup band. There's no 18-wheeler full of shit out there. It's just you up on stage telling jokes. I really never even considered how much money you could make doing it at that level. And it changed the whole way that that I perceive life and live my life, and I didn't see it coming, and I never sat around thinking it might. I never thought, someday I'm going to be a huge, comedy star, and I'll be rich as shit, and I'll have a jet at the airport, and I never ever thought about that kind of stuff, and then it happened. So that's called fame and fortune. So now people know who I am. I was way more famous in '02, I think, than I am now, because all those DVDs were out, and people, every day you're not on television, you're less famous than you were the day before, and which is fine with me.
That's right. You're still one of the funniest guys working today, man. That's all that matters. That's why you got into this in the first place, was to just be funny.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do. And I was always true to it and true to my nature. Anyway, I think that's what I was trying to say before I turned into this fucking... Does that sound braggadocious?
No,
I don't mean
not
it.
at all.
I don't mean for it to.
Not at all. Not
I mean
at all.
to be vulnerable by saying it, that it, just how much it made. I'll tell you that I would made the 1 week I made $3,000 and or $3,500 in a comedy club for, I think I was just there for the weekend. So that was more money than I was making before. And but not as much as I was making while we were touring, as I was their opening act at the Blue Collar. I was making more, but that ended. So then the DVD went kind of straight to movie. I mean, the DVD went straight to DVD. It didn't stay in the theaters very long. It wasn't a successful theater release, and. So I'm back at the Omaha Funny Bone, making a little more money, but it looks like it missed. It looks like it missed. And but
you're still doing theaters today, though.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There's no more Omaha Funny Bone.
Oh God, there hadn't been an Omaha Funny Bone in 15 years.
I'm going there in November, and I'm excited.
I'm not. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying. No, I've been.
And she loves you too. Yeah. She's a good lady.
The Cat in the Hat. That's what I call her. Did she ever tell you the story when I went? She woke me up to go to radio. Like, you think we got time to fuck? And this is the woman that owns the club. I'm like, so, Colleen, right?
Colleen.
Yeah, right.
Good lady.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. I love her. So anyway, I don't remember what I was talking about.
We're just talking about where you were and how fast you moved up in a short period of time, which you fucking can't believe. You're waiting for a building to fall on top of your head.
Well, I'll tell you the weekend that made me realize it, and in dollars and cents. I made $3,500, and then I had this little theater, 800-seat theater in Atlanta that I wanted to do instead of the comedy club, because that guy fucked me out of money. And by then I'm selling out these clubs, but my manager says, no, you need to do the club one more time, really solidify yourself, and then go to theaters. I'm like, I think this will work. So I sell out 9 of them in 5 days and make $90,000. And I was like, the whole night at that time I was like, So, what am I? How much do I make when we sell? Because they're just selling out. Boom, boom, gone, 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 gone. I have no idea. It literally brings me to tears of just realizing that this is going on. Then we put a show on sale in Minneapolis. It sells out in 2 minutes. 2 minutes after we put it on sale, you couldn't get a ticket for it. And at that time, for an ever so short amount of time, I was probably the hottest comic in the world, and I just gone. Now I'm selling out. Like a month later, once we figure out how big it is, now they're putting me in these huge rooms and bringing in, $3 and $4 and $500,000 a week, and now all of a sudden, it's fame and fortune. It's not. There are pitfalls and booby traps and nothing's real, and I fell for all of it. I wrote it out. So
I mean, look where we were. Look where you were. You had to write it out, Ron White. What were your options? Go back to Mexico and make linoleum?
I just kept, I kept doing stand-up and realized that it was such a validation. It made stand-up fun. And it is to this day. I think if it wouldn't have, had that successful element to it, I don't know that I would still be, I probably would, probably even more, but, so in love with stand-up to this day that I, when I'm in town, instead of staying in my house, I go down there and be a stand-up comedian. And if you want to be a stand-up comic, that's all you got to do is go be a stand-up comic. But you have to do that. You got to go be one.
It's funny. When I sit there and watch you on stage, I get that vibe from you that you're very fucking happy to be a stand-up. I can tell you're having a great job. Yeah.
Who wouldn't? And I do these shows for nothing. I don't even get my $35 or whatever it is.
$15, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I don't collect it. I'm like, I don't have that time. But those are the shows I do. I do way more shows for nothing than I do for money. And the touring schedule now is still 110 cities a year, and I still play the same rooms that now Burr sells these rooms out 4 times a night, and Sebastian, their lineup down at the fucking Comedy Store is so goddamn strong. If you're a comic looking at that list, the best thing you can hope for is to follow me. Because everybody else is so strong, it's just it's amazing. I followed Ali Wong the other night, and I was like, Ali Wong, everybody, if she was only a little more confident.
It's a couple of weeks ago. I said, fuck, 2 or 3 months ago, I can't go down there no more because I can't work out. I can't just go up there with a note and a piece of paper and work out. So I would go hide at the Ha Ha and fucking Flappers, which is great. But then I started thinking, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just taking my road show to the store. That's what got me here. That was
dude, that's what I do.
I
can't follow these motherfuckers.
No,
shit I thought of yesterday. I'm there to murder. Is that what we're doing?
That fucking Chris D'Elia. You ever try to follow that lunatic talking about possums in his backyard and whatnot?
Oh, yeah. No.
There's a couple people up there that you got to follow, and you go, I'm just going to do the best I can.
Right.
That's all you can do.
They're so good, man. I don't know that
it's harder than the weekends.
I don't even know that comedy's been in better shape than it is right this minute. Even with Rogan, I watch Rogan on stage, and he does do tons of new stuff, and I think maybe pound for pound, he's maybe my favorite comic
right now. He is my favorite comic.
Yeah. So and again, a great guy.
Great guy. He writes. You went out with in the beginning.
Madigan?
No, the guy we were talking about.
Alex Ramundo.
No, Foxworthy.
Oh, Foxworthy. Oh, okay.
And I'm sure that 30% of the stuff you do on the road today is things you learned on the road with Foxworthy.
Oh, you know what, Foxworthy, the first time I ever did stand-up, he was at the show. This is how influential Jeff is for me and important he is to me. He comes up to me after the set, because he was the headliner of the club that week, just by fucking chance. That all these things came together over the years and all this stuff, But he came up to me after the set, and my first set ever, and he goes, "You're really funny, but you need to put the punchline at the end of the joke." And I was like, "What?" And so this is how generous this motherfucker is. He sits down with a comic that's done 4 fucking minutes of stand-up comedy and teaches me something about structure. Just that you can say this part of this sentence here, but if you don't, and you move that part of the sentence to here, then the punchline's at the end of the joke, and you don't step on the laugh. And I was like, oh, so now I've done it for 30 years, so I can't imagine. But you can't teach somebody funny at all, but you can teach them structure.
Structure, absolutely.
He was my mentor, even though I'm older than him, I think. So that's kind of disheartening when you have a younger mentor. But Foxworth,
I had the same situation with Rogan. 30-40% of what I do on the road right now is the roadblocks and the up and downs I learned on the road with Rogan. Same thing. I fly out the first flight out. I fly out the first flight in. I don't really do. There's just so many things, and it works. You learn a lot from the guys that take you on the road. It's like you learn your in and outs. You make it better. You make it better how to work for you.
Yeah, it's such a there's a million ways to skin a cat, and stand-up comedy. When people ask for advice, I just tell them that the journey's so personal that you can't tell someone how to do it. You don't even know how you did it, much less tell somebody else how to do it.
It's like when somebody sends you a tape and goes, "Can you judge this?"
I'm like,
"Are you fucking crazy? Who the fuck am I to tell you what your stand-up is?"
Right, and for sure you don't want me doing it.
No.
Is it kind of weird because, like, just thinking about you saying how you went from like the clubs to the theaters, your act didn't necessarily change, but the paycheck changes. Like in every other job, like your position or your title changes a little bit and your rate goes up. But this, you could do the same thing on Monday and Tuesday, and it could be for $90,000 and for $15.
Yeah, I genuinely don't mean to sound braggadocious because I don't even say those numbers very often, but that's what happened. That's what happened, but I genuinely didn't see it coming. I never sat around and thought, that this was
my ship is going to come in.
Right, I never thought that. I was like, maybe something neat will happen, and I'll not go to jail some more, and maybe I can quit doing drugs every day, and do stand up, and for some reason it all fucking shined, and the success of it, left me in fucking rehab, and. I was spinning out of control. When you gave me all the money I wanted, I'm fucking living at the Peninsula in a suite, fucking $2,500 hookers, doing blow like crazy. That's the most blow I ever did, was at that point in my life.
You don't do blow anymore?
Not at all.
Done.
No.
That's just a different dark man to bump into every night. That's a different savage when you're doing stand-up.
But luckily I had a therapist, and he was able to talk me out of maybe it wouldn't hurt if you just went to this 5-star rehab thing for 30 days, and they've got really nice sheets and a great chef, and I was like, that doesn't sound too bad. So I went down there. And that lasted for 6 months, which wasn't bad. It was a good 6 months.
You went to a rehab for 6 months?
No, I went there for 1 month, but I stayed sober for 6 months. I call it I had a brief bout with sobriety that I was able to overcome with the help of my friends and my family.
What was the main drug of choice when you went to the rehab?
Scotch and, just massive amounts of scotch and weed and, but not a lot of, and that's pretty much it. I did other drugs, but I've kind of left all that stuff out. But But I'm such a raging alcoholic that it just every once in a while you got to reel it in a little bit, So
I loved that White Label on the rocks when I was snorting blow in the 80s. That was my first.
You said it like a DJ, too.
Listen, that was my first love affair. There was no pussy for me. That fucking dude was on the rocks with a couple ice cubes, with a couple lines of coke and a Quaalude. Your dick showed up.
Keep adding shit to it.
Oh my
man.
God, your dick showed up like a fucking Marine.
Just a little bit of each.
Oh, that was my love. That was when I was the craziest. There was a drink in the early 80s that used to make me go crazy. And you're going to remember it. It was called Harvey's Bristol Cream. It had no alcohol in it, but they put Cosby pills in it. Because every time I drank it with a girl, with the weirdest things happened. They want me to sniff their asshole. It was always something. Do they still make Harvey's Bristol Cream?
I remember that name, but I don't think I ever.
Oh my God, it was terrible. I think it was like 6.
If I accidentally eat this fucking star, I'm gonna be pissed, dude.
Nah, don't be pissed. It's gonna be a good time.
No, I gotta do a set.
Oh yeah, they still make it. I think it's a dessert one. I think there might have been alcohol in it.
How much alcohol?
Let's find out. It's an original cream sherry.
Oh my God, I used to get fucked up. I would get an 8-ball and take this little freak down to Seaside Heights, New Jersey, and we'd get a 2 or 3 bottles of Harvey's Bristol Cream. My dick would get hard like Hitler, and I'd eat that ass like it was going out of style. You understand? He didn't even know what to do. Harvey's Bristol Cream. One night I tied her up. I got violent. I tied her up with the sheets, and the next morning she's like, "What got into you?" It was Harvey.
Oh my God! It has a big one.
What is it?
17.5. Isn't that a big one?
You get fucked up on that stuff.
Oh wait, most sherries. Never mind. Hold on. That's most sherries have it.
I thought you said he was a genius.
No, nobody said.
He just gave me that star. Let's see. It doesn't say how many. It says most wines are about 17.5.
You know, it's funny, Ron White, when you came in. You said you're happy this all happened because you had dick saved up for retirement.
Yeah,
Can you
right.
imagine, Ron, us working at a Subway, telling the stories about the concerts we went to, opening up for Guinness, and that is my biggest fear, to be walking to Subway.
No, I heard Chris Rock say some really pretty poignant shit about stand-up comedy. If you can get Chris Rock talking about this art form and the business of it and stuff, he's also, he's a smart guy, but he was talking about his biggest fear is to lose it, all the money that he'd made, and people have lost bigger fortunes than that. This isn't dick what I've done compared to what other people have lost. Just in bad business and, people fucking them over or whatever. And God
How much Dane Cook get robbed for by his brother?
$10 million after tax money. That's $100 million in ticket sales to put 10 in the bank. That's the way it works at that level. And I never really knew him. And but I never thought he was funny, and I mean, I bought his album, listened to it one time on the way home from the place I bought it from, and I got home and I threw it away because I'm not a collector of anything, but so I was like, oh, whatever, but it was selling like crazy, and it did. I had an album that was selling, and this one just blew by me like a rocket ship, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And so maybe I just don't get it. I mean, sometimes I don't get it, but it's a real thing, but I don't get it.
It's like me with Saturday Night Live. As a kid, I didn't get it. I still don't get it at times. People love it, but I don't get it. You want some ice?
No, I gotta quit drinking, man.
All right, no.
I'm gonna call that place back.
Text that dude, because it's 9 o'clock already. I want you to be there tip top Magoo. It's 8:55.
So can we get a volunteer to take my car to the? No, you guys are fucked up. You can't do it.
Oh my God, I'm fucked up. You want to get your special Uber driver?
No, because I don't want to leave my car over here.
Okay.
I'll drive it.
No, don't drive it.
I think. Hey, look, we look how much tequila we've got.
There's 2 fingers left in there. There's 2 fingers of tequila, and Lee still hasn't done his second glass. No, he hasn't. He put water in there. He milked it. I've been watching you. You milk it the way like the stars. Who puts fucking water in tequila, cocksucker? 12 years in a fucking case.
I put like half a cup in mine. I had a lot of fucking alcohol. It's good. It's good. Look at the bottle we filled.
I had like 9 glasses here.
Oh, ain't it delicious though?
No, delicious. It really, really great. And you know, when I went to pee, I noticed I didn't have that drunk feeling. I had more of that whatever type feeling.
It's fun to drink. It's like it gets you a little warm, but it's not like you're gonna. I don't know. Like when I was young, I only used to drink a certain kind of tequila because I could feel the burn. I was like, oh yeah, it burns. Like that has to be good. Now I'm like, oh yeah, you could just drink it over ice.
If it burns, it's made wrong. Tequila does not have to burn at all. This is the smoothest stuff in the world.
What made you invest in all this?
Well, I would invest. Number one, I'm impetuous, and I'm an idiot, and that's worked out. So I don't really put a lot of thought into the things I do. I guess, and but I knew this tequila was amazing, and and Alex Raimundo, who I started doing stand up with. He's from Mexico, and he found it in this little dusty distillery, and he brought me down there, and it's genuinely made in the shittiest fucking distillery ever anywhere in the world. It's a genuine shithole. It's like nearly.
But that's what makes it this good.
What makes it good is the Revescas family been doing this for 140 years, and they make this craft tequila that's a small batch thing, and we talked. It took Alex 4 years once we decided that we wanted to try to bring it to the U.S. because it's never been here, and it took him 4 years to convince him to let us do it. And so, it's a. This is just it'll kill me. I guarantee you, because I can't leave it alone. It needs a goalie or something in front of it after you've been drinking it for a while.
If you don't drink it on the rocks, how else can you drink? You like margaritas with it? I mean,
fuck, not this extra añejo. Now the other two, I mean, there's Reposado and there's a Blanco, and the Reposado is so good. I wouldn't put. I rarely put even ice on this. I usually just drink it out of the bottle. I don't use a glass.
It tastes delicious.
Yeah. It's
I drank
crazy.
a bunch.
So it's called Number One Tequila. You can go to taterstequila.com and we'll send it to you straight to your house and give it a try. So I had this guy the other day sent me a text that said, I don't think you should use the stage to sell your tequila. And I was like, why don't you go find a nice, quiet place to fuck yourself? I felt like it was a shade tree.
Online.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they all come out from. They all come out from online and insult you. And Ron White, what's it feel like to 50 years from now, people are going to talk about you as one of the fucking top comics of all time, one of the top storytellers?
I don't think they will.
I know they will, because they say it now.
I don't think they will.
You have a really loyal following. I bumped into this couple in Baltimore. Was it Baltimore? Yeah, it was John Rollo. They were the sweetest couple in the world. And they came to one night and they go, we come to all the shows. And they said recently they had gone to see you. And that was like the 4th fucking time they said they had seen you.
People come back and I love them for it. I try to move on with the stand up to make it interesting, and they're the reason I keep doing it. It's the feeling you get from just walking on stage, and and people, they just want to bestow fucking love on you, with applause, and then and I keep my chops, so I'm still good at what I do. So I'm still gonna beat the fuck out of you. I'm coming there to take a swing at your face. So, and that I will do. But it's just amazing, because I'll know when to retire. They'll let me know, and maybe they keep listening. As long as they keep listening, I'll keep doing it.
If you thought when I got into this, when I was 28 years old, that I'd be doing comedy at 54, you're fucking nuts. I thought I was going to do it for 10 years, then go to prison.
Yeah,
and wrap the rest of my life in prison.
Me and you both.
If you're trying to tell me right now, do you know how many idea, Lee and Ron, what I feel like when I'm driving down Laurel Canyon to go to the store at 9 o'clock at night on a Thursday night? Comics come and fucking go. Do you know what I feel? I don't even put the radio on, Ron. I just sit there and absorb it. And I think about how fucking lucky I am that at 54 I go down to the store and do a spot at 10:45.
Yeah.
It baffles me. I thought by now I'd be dead. I'd be just a full-time drug dealer in and out of fucking jail in New York City. I could have never thought of this. Do you think I would ever think of having a 4.5-year-old at fucking 54?
Yeah, that's pretty rich, my friend.
Jesus Christ. And guess what? When I walk in the door tonight, she'll be waiting for me. My wife will be fucking out snoring. I'll be in my office ready to go in the garage.
So the 4.5-year-old's running loose.
Oh my God. I hear the door slam. I go, is that my wife?
The Diaz.
And she'll come up to me like, Daddy, what are you doing? What the fuck you think I'm doing? I'm about to roll a fucking number here. What are you doing? It's 10 after 11. Like, Ron, all this shit to me, I couldn't even imagine. So I can imagine what you're going through the last couple of years. Because I know you were a recluse type of guy like me. We just woke up for the day.
Yeah,
if we gave a fuck about that, I love these people. What are you going to be thinking in 10 years? I'm not thinking nothing. I'm thinking about this fucking burrito I'm going to eat for lunch.
Right,
That's
yeah.
all I'm fucking
I couldn't come
about.
up with when they asked me where I was at.
Yeah, who the
next
fuck knew?
week I couldn't come up with
go
it. I was
fuck
like,
yourself.
I don't have any idea. Because it doesn't matter. I'm going to take, I've got a great staff and they take care of all that stuff.
You really are taking Welker. You do it right, man.
Yeah, the plane is an extravagance, but it just I'm going to be dead anyway. So why not spend it? The plane makes my life easier, and I don't think any other comic. I mean, I know some of them lease them, but I know nobody's ever bought one before. But it made sense to me, and it looked like two different jobs. One of them paid a little more, and the other one you get a jet. And I was like, I'm going to take the job with the jet. And
Was that the coolest thing you've purchased? That has to be the coolest thing to have your own jet.
oh yeah, it is. And even then, anybody could argue it's not the smartest thing you could possibly do. But I'm like, well, you sit on those fucking planes. You do 145 cities a year,
Jesus Christ.
And without
On
a plane.
American
Number one, you
fucking
can't.
airlines. Yeah, no.
You can't do it because logistically you can't get it out of the city. So literally that plane made me money because I was willing to do the sets and I could sell the tickets and so I went down and looked at it one day and I'm like, I'll take it.
So how many weekends do you go out a month? Honestly, 3 or 4? Or
I still do 100. I did 111 cities last year, counting Vegas as one city, and I did that 11 weekends. So I work hard. I still go out 3. Usually, I mean, I'm really kind of settling off to 2 nights a week now because it's so much easier to do.
Friday,
2 than
Saturday,
3.
get the fuck out.
Get
Yeah,
the fuck
that's where
out,
I'm going
go back
next
home. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to. So but I'm still doing 12. 10 to 12 sets a week in L.A. for free. So if you don't want to pay me or Joey, you don't have to. You come out to L.A. and go to the Comedy Store. And I mean that's the show last night. There were like 6 or 7 comics make over $50,000 a night in one show for $15 or whatever.
You,
the fuck
Dalia, Rogan. There was that's ridiculous. The store is
Wong
packed every
Allie,
night.
Allie makes
Wong.
that kind of money too, and Jeselnik, I think, and
that's right.
was in the other room. Fuck, who else? Tony
Hinchcliffe?
Hinchcliffe is a big time. I don't know if but anyway, there were. It's just an amazing place to go stand up. Every once in a while. This is something I also learned from Chris Rock. Don't take anybody with you when you go down to the club to do a set. Don't take your wife. Don't take your wife's friends. Your friends that aren't comics. Don't take anybody. Don't take your manager. Don't take your
Sometimes
agent.
I take my little brother here, but most of the nights I let him hang out with his wife.
Yeah, but for the most
I
part,
go solo.
I have friends that are exceptions if they're in town, or whatever. But but if you don't go down there without them, then you're not a part of that community, because that part of that community is much unto themselves, and you really aren't yourself. When you take somebody with you, especially a spouse or somebody, and that's something I heard Rock say on the radio. I'm like, you're right, and I was lucky enough that my girl at the time heard him say it on the radio, and I'm like, you can't argue with that, right? You ain't coming to no more of these fucking shows.
I don't take my spouse with me. I love my wife. I love that baby. I'm in San Francisco next week, and we spoke about it. And I had to throw hot water on it. I throw cold water on it. I was like, I can't do it. My Saturdays, I need that Saturday to write and be in peace. I can't go to the San Francisco fucking zoo. Just doesn't work for me. I like to focus. I don't even like selling T-shirts or nothing. I focus on stand-up. And the people who listen to the podcast, I want them to come up to me and shake my hand. I don't need the $20 that much on the fucking T-shirt. You want a T-shirt, go online. I just can't do it. I want to focus on the fucking...
You were so lazy that you won't bring a box of T-shirts for those adoring fans that would love to have
Fuck them. Let them go online.
Fuck them.
My wife will send it to you with a note. I'll send you a cup, but I don't want to... You know why? I don't have to put my fucking glasses on and start looking through shirts and making change after the show.
We're fucking old, dude.
I just want to focus on going up there, and if they, whatever they pay for the ticket, I want to give them their money's worth. You know, for years I heard these comics when I was doing nothing as a feature act. I heard comics coming back and going, hey, have you been to Tulsa yet? Oh my God, I sold 1,200 in CDs. And the comic was god-awful.
Right.
And even though I was snorting coke like a savage, I never sold nothing after the show. Even though I was a coke fiend, I'd rather borrow 20 from the bartender than sell a T-shirt after the show. How fucking crazy!
I didn't do it that much, but I had when I got fucked into this deal, and part of it was I got a bunch of cassettes of my show, and so I sold them for $5 a piece. The first night I sold 200 of them, and I had this big pile of money, but now they want money for those to replace them with, and now I got to sell them for $10, and I'm like, so they kind of died off, and so I don't like to do extracurricular shit, but you know I do meet and greets that people pay to come see, and that's a fun thing, and they enjoy it.
I love doing meet and greets. I love talking to people after the show that listen to the podcast, especially. You know, as people come up, there's some people who are just fucking crazy, but there's some people who come up and tell you how much they appreciate what you do for free, and you haven't scammed them, you know, with Patriarch and all this shit. You're just yourself, you know, and it's a great feeling for me. I'm very fortunate. I did time. My mother died when I was young, you know. I went out there and put guns to people's head, but here I am in fucking Studio City, California.
La La Land, baby.
Yeah, baby boy. Ron White, I'm more than happy that you came on tonight. I use you as an inspiration. Sometimes I'm like, fuck, I'm 54, I should quit. And then I go down to the store, and there you are with a 2G fucking suit on, with your hair looking sexy as a motherfucker, with a drink in your hand and a fucking cigar, letting people know what time it is, following Ali Wong. And I go, what the fuck? What kind of faggotry is going into my mind? You understand me? I'm following Ron White. I'm doing what
you
Ron
do
does.
It with no effort at all.
What the till the end.
Nobody beats that room up like he does. Don't let him fucking get humble on you now, right before he dies.
I'm gonna do some shout outs and read this, and we'll get you the fuck out of here. We'll get you right home. Text somebody and see if they can pick you up, and let's get you home right. First off, this podcast is fucking on the 7th, so let's make believe. The Punchline, Thursday through Saturday. 5 shows. Half the shows are sold out. The rest is up to you. And then on the 19th, working out with Uncle Joey at the Ice House, $15 on a Saturday night. Where the fuck you at, Ron White? You're in New Jersey at Montclair. No. Morristown.
Yeah, he's in, and then he's also at...
What's the name of the theater in Morristown?
Give me 1 second, let me pull it up.
The tickets available. These are my fucking family in Jersey. I want you to do me a favor, and the way you supported me at the Borgata, go see my fucking savage Uncle Ron White. What's the name of the theater in Morristown now?
Okay, give me 1 second, sorry. We killed your website. Your website's a little slow. Give me 2 seconds, Joey.
What's the website anyway? RonWhite.com?
Tatersalad.com.
Tatersalad.com. Okay. Go there for all fucking dates.
All right. So
but Friday, where is he?
Friday, there's 2 shows at the Mayo Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey.
Oh, shit. Next to the next day you wake up and you go to the Morristown Funny Cars, whatever the fuck it is.
And this is I used to go there as a kid. He's on Saturday at the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom.
There you
in
go,
Hampton Beach, New
motherfuckers.
Hampshire.
Yeah, can I tell you a little story about the Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom? It's I'm doing a set there, and it's like a 1,700 seat saloon, and but it's cool. It's fun too. I like doing it. And right off the stage, there's this lady. She's having a blast. And she's laughing so hard she can't even breathe. And I'm on my tour bus afterwards, and I see some people always waiting out there for autographs. So I come out there, and she comes at me with her mouth open and her tongue out, and she goes, "Do you like blowjobs?" And I was like, "Not anymore." I did. I used to, but not anymore. But
where is that?
It's on the beach in New Hampshire.
Right,
and they only open it up on a Sunday, on the summers, right?
Summers, I think. I probably.
I was too young. I never got to go see a show there. We'd park right there, and you'd be on the beach. That was the first place I took edibles.
I'm there every year and a half. It's a blast. It's something different. It's been around. It's something. So you look at it, you can't imagine it didn't burn down fucking 30 years ago.
Is there a real casino inside? I don't know.
No, there's not. I don't know where they tacked that on there pretty loosely because I don't see a casino.
There's no casino. There's no Indians in that motherfucker.
There's one really aggressive woman that wants to know.
Did I do the shout outs yet?
Not yet.
No. All right. Crystal Jordan, my girl. Jeremy Slagoth, Jonathan Bowers, Daniel Kyle, Daniel Lowe, Gareth Keenan, Ian Quindry, Alan G, you bad motherfucker, Scott Carson, Austin 930, Cassidy, and my girl Elliot, my guy, my main brother from Orange County, Elliot Smith. For starters, I want to talk about who puts fucking the Church of What's Happening Now together. And it's a company called ZipRecruiter. That's our sponsor for tonight. Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? No, you don't. Let me tell you something. You know how hard it is to find good people to work for you? No, you don't. Every day you get calls from crazy people. They got no resumes. They got no experience. But then again, they want all the money in the world. With ZipRecruiter, you can post jobs to 100-plus job sites with just one click. Then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your job better than anybody else. That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Guess what? It finds them. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get qualified candidates in just 24 hours. That's right. No juggling emails, no calls to your office, no shoes in your door. Simply screen, rate, manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And immediate means time. Time means money. So right now, my listeners can post jobs on ZipRecruiter for, ready for this? Free, gratis. That's right. Ugats, nothing. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/church. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/church. One more time. It's going to cost you nothing. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/church. I want to thank my man Ron White again.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Oh, my God. This is an honor for us. I thank you again. And anytime you want to come on, you have an open fucking door. Your vodka, number one,
tequila.
Is tequila. I'm sorry. This is how fucked up I am.
How the fuck am I going to get to the Comedy Store, dude?
We'll figure it out. Don't worry about nothing. We'll make a call.
Okay.
Listen, don't forget, next week, this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the San Francisco Punchline. Then the following Saturday, I'm at the Ice House working out with Uncle Joey, trying to come up with new material. I love you, motherfuckers. Stay black. I'll see you guys next, whatever the fuck it is. I'm drunk to the gills, guy. I don't even know what the fuck you're listening to.
How are you going to get, look at what time it is. You knew you were doing this to me.
No, I didn't. It's 9:15.
You did.
I got you out of here.
You knew I told you I got to go. I got a show at 10:30. And what do? You get me trashed.
9:15, I got you out of here.
You got me trashed, dude.
Well, that's part of the deal, coming on the Church of What's Happening Now. I love you guys.
Have
a great week. See you Wednesday. I love you with all my heart, Ron White. You made my fucking month. Lee Syatt, my favorite Jew in the world. I love you. And tell these motherfuckers, the three wise men were Jewish and they showed up with an envelope. Don't show up without an envelope. That's my fucking message to you cocksuckers. Have a great day. Stay black. Hit it, Lee.